Hello tubers and tubettes, my name is David and I live in Northern California. So I wanted to talk today about what my schedule is. Started my YouTube channel, started it back up a couple months ago when I had a ton of time, and now I don't have time at all. I mean, I haven't even been on the channel since I got back from my vacation in Hawaii, and I have a bunch of Hawaii stuff I want to throw on there, and also a bunch of stuff, a bunch of whales. We watched, I think we went on 5 whale watching tours because my wife is crazy about whales. So I want to get those on there too. But it's weird because it's picking up. Today is Friday, and I generally don't like to have a heavy Friday, especially if I have a sign up. So I have a sign up on my 3rd appointment. It's supposed to be, you never know until you get there. But normally if I'm going to have a sign up, and especially last year when the leads weren't that heavy, I would just take the sign up on a Friday, and then that would be it. Finish out my week that way. But in this case, I actually have a couple of new leads, and so I'm going to have to deal with those today. Just trying to merge here into traffic. And sorry about that, bear with me. All right, so my first lead today is a fireman, and he's in a house that they're moving into probably in about a month. And so they live in another town called Modesto, which is about an hour south of us. And then their house that they're moving into is about 30 minutes north of me. So I offered to go to their house so the wife could be there. But for some reason, I'm sure there was a lot of stuff done on their new house, so he wants to go there right after he gets off his shift. And he wants to meet out there. A lot of times, guys want me to meet them at their house, and that's great, that's fine. But if it's a house that's being built and there's nothing in the backyard, then I basically go out there and I go, oh yeah, it looks good, it looks fine. Sometimes there's no fences up, so it's hard to even define the property lines. I got to find the pins. But it's not important to me to see the lot. I mean, as long as they have an engineered plot map, which they do, I could have met them in Modesto. I offered it to her again, and I know she really liked that idea because she wasn't going to be able to be there at the appointment today. He was going to FaceTime her, and that's good. But it's not as good as having somebody there, so it's going to be tougher for her. So I said, if you like, I could just meet you there at your home in Modesto, and then do the appointment there, and your husband doesn't have to go all the way up to Rancho Cordova. But for some reason, he really wanted to go there, probably to check out something there. That's my first appointment. My second appointment makes me a little nervous because they can't put a pool in until they remove their garage. So I don't know what this is. They're going to remove their garage, demo out their garage, which is something we could also do too. We don't want to do it, but we could do it. And then I guess then they'll have enough room to put a pool in there. So that's going to be my second appointment. And what I'm going to try to do today is to ask them, hey, is it all right if I go ahead and videotape your backyard for my own records? And then that way I'll be able to share them with you, so you can kind of see what I'm dealing with. My third one was 2 ladies. They're married. And I had met with the first lady, who I guess is the one that's real, they said that she's more emotional, and she's really into this pool. So she had a couple of ideas from other pool guys, but I don't think they were the right ideas. It was really going to split her yard in half by putting it right in the center. And I suggested, after talking to her, maybe we move it this one place. And there was a tree that's really beautiful. And it's kind of like an elm tree, but it's a special tree. A specialty tree. And so I was like, if it was my backyard, I would not cut that down. Because I have seen people bring in trees really big, and they can cost like $5,000 to bring in a specialty tree. Because some people are just super rich and they want it to look like it's been there for 10 years, so they buy a 10-year-old tree. They're in a big box. They have to be dug with a bobcat and then put in with a forklift, or bobcat with lift forks on it. And so I designed a pool where the tree could stay, and she really liked it. They were referred from another customer of mine, and that other customer was in Rancho Cordova actually, and their pool was a little tough because it had an auto cover on it. So that moves the scale of difficulty from maybe a 8 on a regular pool up to 10 because of this vault that we have to create for the auto cover to fit inside. Then you have to pour the concrete, and then you screw the tracks upside down, you know, on both sides of the concrete, and it has to be rectangular for this to work. And then the vault has to be big enough so that it can accommodate a rolled up cover. And then there's motors on it and ropes that will pull the cover across, you know, to close it. So there's a lot of complexity on it. Probably the only thing that was good about it is it was about an 18-inch raised backyard on the corner lot. And that made it so we didn't have to worry too much about drainage, because drainage is another issue. You're like, well, it could just drain right into that drain, right? No, not really, because the vault is 24 inches deep. So the drain will go down in the side, but you're already starting at 24 inches deep. And a drain line has, wherever it's going to end at or daylight at, it has to flow 1/8 of an inch per foot. So if you're 8 feet away, it's going to have to drop an inch. If you're 24 inches in the vault, that means that that drain line is going to be 25 inches down. And 25 inches down, going out to a sidewalk, you could actually be, you know, lower than the sidewalk. I mean, you will be lower than the sidewalk, but there's no way for the water to come out. But on that one, we did put deep wells on it anyway. Anyway, they referred me to these two ladies. And they had even said, even though we had bad reviews, a couple of those bad reviews I was telling you about before, they were resolved, but there was never a video, or there was never a text, you know, on the Yelp to say that they had been taken care of. So they said they saw that and made them a little alarmed, but they talked to their friends and they go, yeah, we saw the same thing, you know, but these guys are actually really good, and just make sure, you know, you have Dave out there. So that was good. So 2 new leads and a potential sign up. Now I say potential because the lady that I wasn't able to meet, Denise, she wasn't at the first appointment, and because she wasn't at the first appointment, now she's asking me questions that I covered already in the first appointment, which is not a problem. It does not bother me at all. But yesterday we were going back and forth with texting, and and some of the questions she had was about solar. You know, she knew that solar was not included on their job, and she wanted to know, you know, the pros and cons of solar. And I'm actually going to talk about that on another video today. But basically what came up is I try to be really honest with people. If your roof that we're going to put the pool on is facing either west or south, which are predominant sun areas, then you're going to spend, you're going to take 65% of the surface area of the pool and you're going to put it into solar. And if you go north, if the panels have to go on the north or the east, then you would take 80% of the surface area of the pool, and that's what would go up on the roof. That's the rule of thumb. That's been like that for years. Even our pricing is figured like that. It's not figured per square foot. Anyway, she's having customers telling her, well, we have 100% solar on the thing. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to tell you. I can guarantee you don't have 100%, because number one, they don't even price it that way. And number two, it'd be like saying, well, I've got a car and it has a 300 horse engine in it. Well, mine has a 350 horse engine. And then you got to ask, well, is that horsepower at the end of the engine shaft, or is that horsepower at the wheels? And it can be dramatically less, you know, at the wheels, because it has to go through the transmission, has to go through the drive shaft, has to go through the differential. And I run into this a lot with people telling me, oh no, I've got 1,000 horsepower on a fully aspirated engine. And that's not impossible, but it's very unlikely, because it means you spend about $25,000 to build up the engine. But you know, it's more technical. It doesn't even make sense to talk about it. Now, I did say that when I built my pool, I did put 100% surface area of the pool in panels, but I didn't have a price on it. We had to have it bid. And was it worth it? Well, I can get my pool up to like 115 degrees, but I mean, is that necessary? No. So, you know, you usually want to be around 78 as optimum. My wife likes it at 85, but that's way too warm, and it's pretty hard on the chlorine. It breaks down the chlorine, you know, pretty quickly. So if you want to get in on a hot day, it's 100 degrees, you don't necessarily want to get into 85 degree water. So 78 is optimum, but I'll have to talk to her about that. The second thing she was asking about was whether there was a salt generator included on the deal or not. And I mean, it's really clear, because I write it just about as clear as you can write it. There's no salt generator included on this deal. And they're about $2,500 to add, but I don't recommend them. And so I'm going to do a video later today on why I don't recommend them. And but you can put them on if you want. So I give people the pros and cons of why I think you don't need to have a salt generator, especially if you're going to have a pool service guy out there. And a lot of times I'm always saying, I even say it this way. I know later you might say, oh my gosh, that David, he told me I couldn't have a salt generator, and so we didn't put it on when we bought the pool, and now I'm stuck. No, actually you're not stuck, because a salt generator can be added anytime. And it should be added by whoever's going to be doing your pool servicing. The reason is just mostly trademarked, like Ford versus Chevy. I mean, all of them work very good. There's probably some really bad ones out there, but as long as you're working with the major ones, you know, they all work pretty similar. And so if we put all Jandy equipment, we would also put Jandy salt generators on our pool. And then you get a pool service guy, and he's like, I've worked on these things, these are pieces of crap, you know, I want to put an AquaPure on it. I mean, you're going to spend another $2,500 for nothing, you know. So if that's what the person likes, and that's your pool service guy, that he's going to do it, it's almost better to just let him do it after the fact. And a lot of times it will not be more expensive, it'll be less expensive. But the big advantage to you is that later he can't complain about it when your pool's green. I told you that Jandy was a piece of crap, and it may just be he's not backing it up with enough chlorine. So this is all the stuff that I have to get across before I can sign them up. I mean, I will not proceed forward on either the solar or on the salt generator if those are the major issues. I will not proceed forward with signing them up until those are resolved, and until they understand what I'm saying. Just because I'm not a high pressure person, and I want them to just know the facts, you know, as I know them. They can research it too, but I'll give them some facts that they may not know. So I'm on my way right now to pick up my check. I'm going to grab it real quick, go back to the house. I'm vacuuming my pool again because I spent a lot of time yesterday cleaning the filter, and I'm going to get into that on another video. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for finding me. Subscribe, and if you can, and I would appreciate it, so we can stay together and you can see my next videos that are coming out. Thank you much, and have a great day.